Imagine unlocking the secret to reversing type 2 diabetes not with more medication, but by changing when you eat. This isn't a fantasy, but a reality that Dr. Jason Fung has been championing for years. Welcome to our deep dive into diabetes, fasting, and the revolutionary ideas of Dr. Jason Fung. Today, we'll explore how his work is reshaping our understanding of this prevalent disease and offering hope to millions. Dr. Fung, a nephrologist and world-renowned expert on intermittent fasting and low-carb diets, has authored several influential books, including The Diabetes Code and The Complete Guide to Fasting. His work challenges many long-held beliefs about diabetes and its treatment. To understand the significance of this work, let's first look at the scale of the problem. Type 2 diabetes has reached epidemic proportions worldwide, with rates skyrocketing over the past few decades. Traditional treatments haven't stemmed this tide, leading many to search for alternative approaches. At the heart of this new approach is a fundamental shift in how we view diabetes. It challenges the conventional understanding of type 2 diabetes as a chronic, progressive disease. Instead, it's presented as a reversible metabolic condition primarily caused by insulin resistance. To grasp this concept, we need to understand the role of insulin in our bodies. Insulin is often described as our body's primary storage hormone. When we eat, especially carbohydrates, insulin levels rise to help our cells absorb glucose from the bloodstream. In today's world of abundant food and constant snacking, our insulin levels remain chronically elevated. Over time, our cells become resistant to insulin's effects, requiring more and more insulin to do the same job. This is insulin resistance, the precursor to type 2 diabetes. This understanding leads to a critique of standard diabetes treatments. Conventional approaches, which often involve medications that increase insulin or insulin itself, may actually worsen the underlying problem. A powerful analogy illustrates this point. Imagine a sink overflowing with water. The conventional approach is like mopping up the water without turning off the tap. It might help temporarily, but it doesn't solve the root problem. In this analogy, the water is blood sugar, and the running tap is the constant production of insulin. So, what's the solution? It's surprisingly simple: fasting. By introducing periods of not eating, we allow insulin levels to drop naturally. This gives our bodies a chance to become more sensitive to insulin again, potentially reversing insulin resistance. Various fasting protocols are advocated, ranging from intermittent fasting, where you limit your eating to certain hours each day, to extended fasts of 24 hours or more. The key is finding a sustainable approach that works for each individual. During fasting periods, insulin levels drop significantly. This drop in insulin forces our bodies to switch from burning sugar for energy to burning fat, a state known as ketosis. This metabolic switch is at the heart of many of fasting's benefits. The benefits of fasting for type 2 diabetes are numerous: improved insulin sensitivity, weight loss, reduced medication, autophagy or cellular cleaning, and simplicity of implementation. Let's dive deeper into autophagy, a fascinating process that occurs during fasting. Autophagy is essentially cellular spring cleaning. When we fast, our cells start breaking down old, damaged proteins and organelles, recycling them for energy. This process may help reduce inflammation and improve cellular function. While fasting is key, diet is also crucial when not fasting. Recommendations typically include: 1. Reducing refined carbohydrates and sugars. 2. Increasing healthy fats and proteins. 3. Focusing on whole, unprocessed foods. And 4. Avoiding snacking to allow insulin levels to decrease between meals. A low-carbohydrate, high-fat diet is often advocated. This approach helps keep insulin levels low even during eating periods, complementing the effects of fasting. For those who find extended fasting challenging, fasting mimicking diets offer an alternative. These involve very low-calorie, specific macronutrient diets for short periods, which can trigger many of the same benefits as fasting. It's important to understand that reversing type 2 diabetes isn't an overnight process. It took years for insulin resistance to develop, so it can take time to reverse. However, many people see significant improvements in blood sugar levels and other health markers within weeks to months of implementing these strategies. The results of this approach can be life-changing. Many patients have successfully reversed their type 2 diabetes, coming off medications and achieving normal blood sugar levels without drugs. While these ideas are gaining traction, it's worth noting that they're not without controversy in the medical community. Some health professionals argue that more long-term studies are needed to fully understand the effects of intermittent fasting on diabetes. It's crucial to emphasize that diabetes management should always be done under medical supervision. Fasting and dietary changes can have significant effects on blood sugar and medication needs, so close monitoring is essential. As we continue to explore new ways to combat the diabetes epidemic, these ideas remind us of the power of returning to simple, time-tested methods. Perhaps the key to our modern health crisis lies not in new drugs or technologies, but in rediscovering the wisdom of giving our bodies a break from constant eating. It's interesting to note that fasting isn't a new concept. It's been practiced for thousands of years in various cultures and religions. This work is, in many ways, a rediscovery and scientific validation of this ancient practice. To recap, this revolutionary approach to type 2 diabetes centers on understanding insulin resistance as the root cause, using fasting as a tool to lower insulin levels and improve insulin sensitivity, and adopting a diet that maintains these benefits between fasts. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of groundbreaking work on diabetes and fasting. While this video provides an overview, I encourage you to dive deeper into the books and lectures we've discussed for more detailed information. Remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your health. Until next time, here's to your well-being.